welcome to our office. How are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing well. Just to ask a few questions, do you prefer me to call you by your last name?
No, you can just call me Rachel.
Call you Rachel? Okay. And you can call me Amelia. How does that sound?
Sounds good.
Great. So today I want to go over first just some of the work that we'll be doing, roles, my role with you, your role in this process. So I'd like you just to tell me a little bit about what you came here for today, and then I'm just going to be giving you some feedback and some information, hopefully some resources today.
Okay.
How does that sound?
That sounds good.
Great. And then, so our session today, we're going to be meeting for about 12 minutes. Does that sound all right?
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. What brought you here today?
So, I've just been kind of struggling to figure out what to do next, with my health insurance.
Gotcha.
It's been kind of stressful. So, I got married in September.
Okay.
But then I turned 26 on the 24th of October. So I can use either of those as what they call a life change event to get new insurance. The problem is that my husband and I don't turn 26 at the same time. So I turn 26 first and lose my coverage on my parents' plan. And his job does offer insurance, and we've looked into it. For him only, it could be affordable, but as soon as I'm added to the family plan, there's no way that we can afford it. It's way too much.
That's really hard.
Yeah, when we saw that number, I was just like blown away that anyone could afford that. And it was not even for a good plan. It was like very basic, high deductible, and for so much money.
Wow.
So my next thought was to look into any tax credits that we might qualify for, even Medicaid, since I'm only working part-time because I'm going to school.
Sure.
So our income is not what we're used to right now. So I was looking into Connect for Health, and I got a phone number of someone who works for Connect for Health that does like in-person meetings. But I called her first and found out we don't qualify for any tax credits or Medicaid because his job offers insurance, even though it's not affordable. Just because it's offered, we don't qualify for anything, which makes it completely unaffordable, and it means that I have to find insurance through Connect for Health or the school insurance is also an option.
So just, and I don't know if you mind if I take a few notes.
No, that's fine.
While we're meeting today. So just to summarize and clarify what you said. So first of all, congratulations on your marriage.
Thank you.
And so both of you are 25 at this point in time.
Right.
And you'll be turning 26 soon.
Mm-hmm.
And there's insurance that's offered through your husband's job.
Mm-hmm.
But the issue is that to put both of you on that would be unaffordable for your family.
Right.
And so up to this point, it sounds like you've done a really good job of looking at your options. You know, Medicaid, potentially Connect for Health, Colorado, some tax credits.
Yeah.
And up to this point, you've been able to find somebody to help you as far as assessing what you'd be eligible for. Does that sound correct?
Yeah.
Great. So tell me a little bit about what happened when you went to this appointment.
So I went today, and I probably went in frustrated because of the situation. So I also left frustrated. So she was nice, but it wasn't. I mean, you have to sign like these papers saying they're not there to offer you guidance. They're pretty much there to like walk you through the website, which I had already looked at on my own. So I didn't necessarily have to go there. She did answer some questions, but I was kind of hoping for more of like, this might be a good option or this could be a good option, but really that's not what they're there to do.
Sure.
So we like went through the website and made like a password and a login, and then based on my personal information, different plans came up.
Okay.
And so my budget for health insurance is not much. So all the plans that could be affordable were all catastrophic plans.
Just to stop you for a minute, tell me about the budget piece. What does that look like for your family right now?
So the most that I could make happen would be $150 a month for me.
150. Okay.
Yeah, but even that felt like coming up with that was stressful. So there were plans that were under 150. I think they started at 135. But catastrophic. And anything that was not a catastrophic plan was at least 200.
Wow.
And I went with my mom. I just felt like I needed some emotional support.
Sure.
Because it's just so overwhelming. And the more you look into each plan, the more you realize that you're paying $150 a month for nothing. At least that's how I felt. Like $150, and I can't even go to the doctor if I get sick because they don't cover prescriptions, they don't cover lab work, nothing until your deductible's met, which was $6,500.
Wow.
And I was really sick last year. I got sick. I was sick more last year than I was healthy. And so I'm scared. Like, if I have a bad year getting sick again, I'll drown in medical bills. But I can't afford a plan that offers covered prescriptions, or at least like a $20 copay for a prescription. Like the catastrophic plans, it is no coverage until you meet your deductible.
Wow.
For nothing.
So just to clarify, so up to that 6,500, you'll have to pay out of pocket whatever the normal price is for a prescription or for a visit or anything along those lines.
Yeah, you get so they say you get 4 visits a year. But that literally means you can walk into the office and talk to the doctor. But if they even like do a stress culture, any blood work, any lab work, that's not covered whatsoever.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that sounds incredibly frustrating and scary. I mean, I hear what you're saying. So last year you had the situation where you got very ill. So you're scared, if I'm understanding you correctly, you're scared that if that happens again, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just kind of scary to think that if I get sick, I can't go to the doctor because there's no way of knowing what that bill might be. And, as a student and working part-time, like adding more debt to my already limited budget is like horrifying.
Understandably. So tell me a little bit more about what happened during the appointment today. Did you feel like you got enough information to make a decision, or are you still kind of weighing all your options?
I think that I got enough information about the plans offered through Connect for Health that I realized I need to look into the school insurance more.
Okay.
Because that might be a better option. And at first I was worried about that because it would have to be paid. It wouldn't have to, but it would get paid for by student loans because that's the only way I could pay for it up front.
Sure.
But then there's like 6% interest tacked onto that because it's a grad loan.
Yes.
So it's building interest right away. But then my logic behind that was, well, if it's decent coverage, and depending on what the premium is per month, there's still a lot I don't know about it. So depending on a lot of things, it might be the best option. And if I'm not paying $150 a month for it, I could use what I was planning to use on insurance to pay off the premium for the semester quicker, or at least that part of the loan, so that I didn't feel like I was paying 6% interest on health insurance. In
That's
my mind,
brilliant.
that's kind of how I thought about it.
I think that's brilliant. It sounds like you really thought a lot about this and weighed all your options and decided what's the most important to you right now. And so you have these two competing issues of finances versus health. And it sounds like you're saying, well, my health is really important to me, and having sufficient coverage for the whole year is really important to me. And you're actually looking at it where you found a way to deal with the finances part too. So I think that's brilliant.
I hope so. I need to look into the the student the offered insurance from Metro for students. I need to know more about that, I think, before I make a decision.
What do you think your steps will be to find out more information about that?
I'll probably start with going on the website and learning what I can from the website. And then any more questions that I have, I'll either call or maybe even go into the student center, depending on what I learn, or go into the insurance part of the student center, depending on what I learn from the website. So I think that that is probably my next step.
Brilliant. So I just want to check in with you. We've got about 5 minutes left for our session today. And I wanted to quickly recap what we talked about and then maybe see if there's some things that we need to address next time we meet and what we're going to wrap up with today and what could maybe carry through to our next appointment. So we talked about your health insurance situation and how that's been stressful and how you've had to really look at all these options. And one was the Connect for Health Colorado, and then the other is the school insurance. And it sounds, whereas you're still weighing all your options and decisions, that you're leaning more towards investigating more about the Metro State student insurance.
Right.
Does that sound accurate?
Yeah, exactly.
And it sounds like next steps, and this may even happen between us, our meeting today and our next meeting. It sounds like you're going to look at different ways to find out more about that program, for as going on the website or potentially going into the student center to get more information. Does that sound pretty accurate?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm kind of anxious, I think, to figure out more about it. I just been stressing out about it for a while, and so it would be nice to know, at least to know this is an option, and it's one that I'm comfortable with, not one that I feel like it's my only option, you know? So it would be good to have that information kind of for my peace of mind, I think.
It's hard in life, I think, when we don't feel like we have choices.
Yeah.
When it seems like there's only one road, when we feel like there's several, or at least a couple different options. I think that can help reduce some anxiety.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't like feeling forced into something, especially if I like know like this is not gonna work, like financially for my family, this is not gonna work. How can this be my only option? You know, and that's kind of how I felt there today until my mom was like, "What about the student insurance? Like, you should look into that." And so I got kind of wrapped up in like looking at this screen of all these plans and feeling like, oh my gosh, what am I gonna do if these are my only options?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad that, you have a support system around you and they were able to help you navigate and see maybe this option that didn't seem like a very good option and not a very supportive option for your health wasn't the only one.
Yeah. Me too.
So just to check in before we wrap up today and we set our next appointment to check in about where you're at as far as the student health insurance. What is our time frame like that this all needs to happen by?
And I think that's where I need to learn more from the school because
Okay.
my insurance ends in October, the end of October. But I don't know that you can get on the student insurance before the start of the next semester.
Okay.
I don't know, but it only runs like semester to semester. There's no like, you can join at any time. So I need to find that out. So I might have to go from like October to January or end of October, so like November to January without any health insurance. Um, just because I don't know the enrollment process at Metro. So my time frame is kind of like to be determined, you know, based on the information that I find out.
Sure.
Mhm.
Well, I'll be looking forward to meeting with you relatively soon and checking in and seeing what kind of information you found out, what answers you got to your questions. How does it sound if we were to set up another appointment for maybe like 2 or 3 weeks from now in order for you to work on these goals that we've talked about today as far as going to the website and going to the student center and finding out when coverage could begin? How
Yeah.
does that sound?
Yeah, that sounds good. That'll give me time.
Great. Well, it was wonderful